Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
A Dalton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent.
Let's get started. The so-called super mayor of Illinois, Tiffany Henyard of Dolan, has been embroiled in what seems like an endless string of controversies. It appears that her days of making bold and rebellious public appearances may be coming to an end due to corruption charges, shocking turns, and a recent move from the FBI.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control.
The thing is, beginning her political career as a trailblazing figure, Tiffany Henyard was the first Black woman mayor of Dalton. When she took office in 2021, people were thrilled because she pledged to improve the small Illinois town by concentrating on economic growth. The type of changes and community initiatives that do urgently required, but if you fast forward to now, it appears that her once bright image has entirely faded. Rather than success stories, her administration has been shaken by accusations of financial mismanagement, excessive spending, and a litany of litigation that would leave anyone feeling dizzy.
All this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
In one of the most shocking recent events, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was commissioned by the trustees of Dalton's Village to look into the matter, revealed what she called heinous financial mismanagement of village funds. When Lightfoot visited, just to give you an idea of the scale, the audience was stunned when she revealed her findings to the public. When Dalton's general fund began in 2022, it had a balance of $561 million. By May 2024, however, that balance had dropped to a deficit of $360 million. This alone would be concerning, but residents of Dalton began to question if their tax funds were being used as Henyard's personal piggy bank when the Lightfoot's investigation revealed even more extravagant expenditures on dining, shopping, luxury hotels, and travel throughout the nation.
It's a power grab, that's it. Power and money grab.
The anxiety in the room was palpable on the day Lightfoot broke the news, and there were gasps as he showed the receipts showing that Lightfoot had spent thousands of dollars on Amazon for a single purchase. For $43,000 in a single day, and it was only the start. Over the course of that day, several transactions were made, including one for $4,700 and another for $5,600 and more on Wayfair, almost $8,000 for something she sold to the village, among other expensive charges. Let's just say that Amazon Target luxury products presented a picture that didn't exactly reflect prudent leadership.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she...
The trustees of Dolan's Village were incensed, with one member, Kay Belcher, calling it a smack in the face to all Dalton residents. Member Tammy Brown cautioned that Belcher was not alone in her annoyance, that the trustees are not the only ones who are tired, and that a clean house by early 2025 is necessary. People like Andrew McKay are devastated, particularly given how many Dalton people are having hardships. McKay added that she was devastated that Henyard had come to town and wasted all of our tax money on basic expenses, and that their mayor was reportedly squandering money.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
She sounded almost irritated by the pushback she was receiving when she accused Dalton. So how did Henyard react? Did she apologize or attempt to clarify her position? She returned with a bang, asking her detractors to keep in mind that she is the leader at one public gathering. Trustees of merely talking points and not doing any actual work, she justified her expenditures as though they were for the benefit of the public, claiming that her detractors were simply providing, displaying themselves, and ought to follow her. She went one step further, however, by using the race card to accuse her detractors of being pompous. Should be embarrassed for assaulting a powerful Black woman. Instead of responding to actual concerns, Henyard appears to be adopting the position that this is all some kind of targeted attack. Conduct.
Arrest for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges.
But the community.
The so-called super mayor has been displayed on enormous billboards throughout the town with phrases like keeping my promises and fighting for my residents. But the community isn't buying it. These billboards featuring her beef face aren't doing her any favors in the community either. Some have called the images reminiscent of leaders and some totalitarian regimes, likening them to anything from a dictatorship. Regime's one homeowner summed up the response from the community nicely when he remarked, "It's like a dictator. There is no call for it. It's a difficult image to erase, particularly given how deeply indebted the hamlet is."
Because I'm at wit's end and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't get this matter handled.
Henyard has even used
Henyard has even employed local police officers to protect her. Some officers have allegedly been forced to work over 100 hours over a pay period at her many events and celebrations, escorting Henyard to social gatherings and meetings. Brittany Norwood, a trustee at Dalton, was spot on when she stated that it's less about safeguarding the mayor and more about allocating police to her private use, which makes the neighborhood feel less secure and puts additional financial burden on the village's budget.
Another board meeting got canceled because of a lack of a quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting as trustees expressed concerns for their safety.
Beyond travel charges and personal security information, Henyard's spending recent records that have come to light show more contentious spending, including expensive billboard advertising and a purported $85,000 Valentine's Day event that. The EV event, which featured expensive decor, famous performances, and personal branding that prominently featured Henyard herself, has been criticized as yet another waste of taxpayer monies, pointing out that the money should have been used to improve the community. Rather than investing in these lavish festivities, the community has reacted negatively, with citizens saying that the expenditures are out of line with Dalton's objectives and needs.
Got canceled because of a lack of a quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting as trustees expressed concerns for their safety.
Adding to her record of scandals, Henyard has a history of planning events that emphasize her position rather than the accomplishments of the community. Numerous one such occasion appeared to be a community gathering that focused on her image, including her arriving with a complicated ensemble reminiscent of the movie Gangster, complete with cueing music, leaving many in the audience perplexed by this spectacle-based approach to public service where Henyard seems to. Prioritizing her own public persona over important policies has been a major source of annoyance for locals, who view these activities as another evidence of her disconnection from the difficulties experienced by the typical Dalton inhabitant.
Thornton Township Board meeting was canceled, this time because Supervisor Tiffany Henyard and a trustee couldn't agree on where to.
Henyard's opponents contend that these activities are merely meant to enhance her own brand, despite her attempts to portray them as initiatives to inspire and include the community. Jason House, a Dalton trustee, placed it. To put it plainly, these are merely diversion from the actual problems we are dealing with, such as budget shortfalls, underpaid suppliers, and a shortage of resources. What he said reflected a rising opinion among locals that the Henyard celebrity-type approach to having such obvious opposition has made governance more chaotic than stable. Henyard is rapidly losing ground in her attempts to position herself as the community's advocate.
It's her problem, her responsibility, and she failed. She's failed everybody.
And then there's the.
Additionally, there is the story of her landlord, Hall, who is battling to have her evicted. According to H, Henyard and her boyfriend stopped paying rent months ago, despite their high incomes. Henyard earns almost $300,000 annually from his dual roles as mayor and supervisor of Thornton Township, but Hull claims they haven't paid rent since August. Paul even claimed that Henyard had changed the locks to prevent her from accessing her own property, which forced her to file for eviction in September. In a town that is struggling financially, Henyard's personal issues only serve to heighten the perception of a public figure who has lost touch with the reality that the majority of her constituents live in. Paul stated bluntly that she feels hopeless and has nowhere else to turn. The irony that Dalton's top leader, who is currently under federal investigation for allegedly squandering government monies, is facing eviction is obvious to the public and continues to erode any remaining faith the community may have in her.
Here a few times to serve them. For a household that makes, over $350,000 a year.
As if this weren't enough, Henyard's actions toward her detractors have been terrifying. She has been known to publicly threaten them, sometimes even implying that charges may be brought against them. Speaking straight to the camera during a Facebook Live broadcast, she said she will seek arrests for her political rivals who she believes are engaging in a power and money grab, although she did not specify what offenses her opponents might have committed. Or think that arrests are warranted. It's a strategy that increasingly resembles a leader utilizing her position to quell criticism instead of confronting the grave accusations made against her.
Getting to be redundant, and we're getting tired of coming here, not having the laws followed, not having a meeting.
Additionally, her other identity politics defensive strategy should not be overlooked. Because she is a Black woman in a position of authority, Henyard has been outspoken about how she feels her critics are picking on her. She has used phrases like, "It's me today, it's you tomorrow." With the FBI getting involved, the stakes have only increased, and residents are speculating that federal scrutiny may finally be what ends Henyard's contentious run. Members who are fed up with what they perceive as a distraction from the real issues at hand believe that her attempts to rally support by claiming discrimination are more about diverting attention from her alleged misconduct than about actual discrimination. And not just the people of Dalton are excited to see justice done. The entire town has been severely impacted by the financial problems her leadership is said to have caused. Henyard's tardiness to a town hall meeting was reportedly jeered by the audience, which is a clear indication that public opinion has changed. It seems as though her once devoted supporters have finally had enough and are now frantically trying to maintain what little support she still has.
Now it appears that they're going to try to have a meeting upstairs. It is not safe up there.
Thus, we are witnessing a political career that appeared promising at one point, but is now nearing the end of its life, with scandals, accusations, and lawsuits piling up like dominoes. The FBI investigation takes a significant turn, raising the possibility that these may be Henyard's last days in office, and while she continues to. Given her town's declining finances, unpaid vendors, and irate constituents, she exudes confidence as if she's untouchable, but it's difficult to see how she can maintain this defiant stance for much longer. Do you think this is the end for her? Tiffany Henyard, or will she manage to hold on to her seat? With all of the upheaval surrounding her, will Dalton benefit from fresh leadership? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe for further updates on this developing story.